It's been a hard life recently, and I really just needed a fresh start. I thought proposing to her was a bright idea. She came to me one day and told me that she wasn't in love with me anymore, and we filed for divorce.
What's good, homies? Welcome back to Grimm. Today we're going to be catching up with a classic 90-day fiance loser, I guess you could say, named Colt. I used to make videos on this guy back when he was on this show the last time. As we know, he's had a very cringy, rocky road through finding love. And the last time we saw him, he was married and seemed to be happily ever after until this show 90 Day Diaries came out, where he reveals that he's divorced and living with his uncle. If you enjoyed this blast from the past story today, make sure you drop a like and check out my other Colt videos if you want to track him down. They're a little bit older, but if you know, you know. This guy is a massive cringe lord. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get right on into it, shall we?
Hello, my name is Colt. I'm 39 years old, and I live in Morgan, Utah.
So that's right, our Vegas boy himself, Colt, is now working on a farm in the middle of nowhere. It looks like he's really changed up his lifestyle, and that's because he's changed up his relationship status. Larissa was not right for him, and then the woman he met after, I don't even remember her name, that was his wife that he married. Things didn't work out. And if you're wondering why this episode looks a little weird, this series is basically TLC trying to cash in on, older guests without actually having to send out a production team. So they're having them film this all on their phones. So I'm sorry in advance, some of the audio might be a little rough, and of course Colt's camera work isn't impeccable, but we can't expect him to be a director when he already can't function as a normal human, in all other regards.
Good morning, ladies. Ciao.
And in this amazing shot that was not planned, I mean, this is just Colt filming on his phone. Even the farm animals don't want to be near him. That's right. He's all weird saying, "Morning, ladies." And then they all just back away and look at him like he's some sort of monster. Like, just imagine every single creature on Earth not wanting to be around you. And that is the lived experience of Mr. Colt here.
2 weeks ago, I left Reno to live in Utah with my mother's brother, John, on his farm. It's been a hard life recently, and I really just needed a fresh start.
And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you can see it in Colt's eyes that there is just, the spark that might have maybe once been there, and that's a real big maybe, is just fully gone now. Like, there is nothing behind those eyes besides regret and sadness.
My 90-day journey started when I met Larissa 6 years ago. She came to America, we got married.
So now he's about to give us a recap, but first he had to give us a little bit of a thirst trap clip there.
Nothing like being a farmer.
Nothing like being a farmer. Like, you think he posted that to his farmers only account that he started definitely the day he finalized his divorce? I don't even want to know how many dating apps this dude's on, but I just know he's swiping for days and not getting a single response, because if anybody sees him, they're already going to be like, okay, maybe I'll give this guy a chance. He's not, too shabby. He's looked worse, I'll say that. He definitely looks like he's trying to keep himself together. But then if they know anything about him or look him up and see any clips of him on the show, they're going to realize just how big of a weirdo and mama's boy, immature child he is mentally, you know what I mean?
I love you more than anything in this world. I will do anything to make you happy.
And after 6 months of constantly fighting, we got divorced.
I love the juxtaposition of those clips. I will do anything to make you happy. Cuts to him. And after 6 months of routinely not making her happy every single day, she wanted to divorce me. So that was kind of, throwing me for a loop. I'm not sure why that happened. Oh, and I'm just shuddering thinking back to the memories of their earlier story with Larissa. That was such a rough, rocky road. I've kind of wanted to go through and make, like, I don't know, I'm just brainstorming here, but a video where it showcases, like, the overarching story of, these 90 Day Fiance people that I'd love watching. The select few of them that are just so cringeworthy that it's hard to keep my eyes off the screen. But I want to do that with Colt. I want to do that with Big Ed. Let me know what you guys think about that. It would be a big project undertaking, and I'd be worried about, spending all this time working on it, and maybe it's copyrighted, but it's definitely been something on my mind. So leave a comment if you think you'd like to see that.
Soon after, I started to date my friend Vanessa, and we both bonded over our recent divorces.
And if there isn't a better foundation for a relationship other than the fact that you two are both freshly coming out of broken relationships, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? Like, that is a storybook romance right there, and I'm just so confused how they didn't work out. And that is totally not sarcasm.
Somehow, I thought proposing to her was a right idea. To Mrs. and Mr. Johnson.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so it sounds like these two were just absolutely rebounding. I honestly forgot about the fact that she also was freshly coming out of a divorce. I don't know why everybody wants to speedrun, just getting multiple divorces. Like, take your time. I know everybody on this show is impulsive, and that's the whole point of it, but seriously, it cringes me out to think of how fast these people are moving through all the stages of a relationship that usually take multiple years. They're like, nope, yep, we're together and we're in love right now during this honeymoon phase, so let's go on a real real honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? Let's get married. Like, you got to be such a dumbass to think that way.
After Vanessa and I got married, we moved to Reno. She came to me one day and told me that she wasn't in love with me anymore.
Ugh, that is soul crushing. That is everybody's worst nightmare. I mean, I'm sure many people out there who are in long-term relationships can relate to that feeling. Sometimes you get worried like, we as people change. Does my partner still love me? And of course, if it's a relationship worth saving, your partner is always going to love you, but not for Colt. He just woke up one day and his wife just came up to him and was like, you know what? I actually have no feelings of love for you anymore. So we're going to get divorced, which I feel bad laughing about. That would be one of the most soul-crushing things to ever experience, but it's Colt we're talking about. You know what I mean? It's kind of the big Ed effect. Like, he's not really anywhere near as much of a bad person as Ed is, if I'm going off of memory here. Of course, it's only been a few years since I've covered him, but my brain is so cooked from just living life that I truly can't remember if he's that bad of a guy. I just remember him being extremely cringy is all.
We filed for divorce.
Now that's a day's work. It's just 12.
How much you want to bet he's filming himself all sweaty, like he's working super hard, but since he's moved to his uncle's farm, this is like the first time he's actually working. Now that the cameras are out and he needs to document this, lifestyle of him being a farmer, I feel like he's just sitting in his room browsing the internet all day, but that might just be me. I'm going off speculation.
I think you're reclaiming your life. You've gone through divorces and you moved.
So now he's sitting down with his uncle for a super impromptu talk that wasn't, entirely existing just for this crappy little special they did as a form of Where Are They Now for these 90-day stars. But, Colt's got his phone set up on the tripod and they're sitting on these bays of hail. It's very photogenic, honestly. It's actually a pretty cool shot. But it seems like his uncle has a good head on his shoulders. I mean, Colt's mom is a little bit iffy. Their relationship is very rocky because it's a creepy mother-son relationship. You know what I mean? It almost seemed like she was jealous of his girlfriends / fiancés most of the time and was very controlling, and then of course he's damaged from that too and handled that in his own way. But I think it's good that he's gotten some time away from his mom, some time away from these women that he's trying to chase and marry within a few months, and he can just talk to somebody in his family that's really trying to inspire him to work on himself and work on being comfortable being by himself, which I think is so important. People lack that skill a ton, and that's why they end up on shows like this, because they just can't stand to be alone for any long amount of time.
I lost my job.
You lost your job.
Yeah, this year has really been bam, bam, bam.
I'm glad you're here. You could have gone up to Canada.
Well,
when he mentions Canada, that's where Colt's mom is right now. She's actually found a man and they're dating, which, props for them. She was also, I think, on a season later on that I did not cover because I'm sorry, I don't care that much about Colt's mom finding her love of her life. You know what I mean? Like, it's already a stretch to get my interest for most of these people on this show, but now you bring up a grandma who's just kind of cringe. No thanks.
I don't think she knows you're here yet.
Yeah, I haven't really kind of told her exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
But strangely, it sounds like Colt has been so at odds with his mom ever since the tell-all, which they go over, where, he kind of pushed back against her and set a boundary. And of course, that caused her to freak out because they've had this super symbiotic relationship where she kind of tells him what's good. He lives in her house, all that stuff. She treated him like a baby still. And once he finally stepped up to her and was like, I don't want to, be babied anymore, she got angry. And because of that, they haven't been talking. And she is out of the loop completely on the fact that this guy's been divorced for the second time and is out living with her brother. So it'll be interesting to see if she responds to that well, or if she gets even more butthurt and they, continue to cause this rift in their relationship.
We've been texting here and there, but I haven't told my mother directly that Vanessa and I have split. Just fed up. And as a result, my mother and I just stopped talking.
And it sounds like from Colt that he is wanting to get back in touch with his mom, so that's where this episode is heading. He's going to be heading down to Canada to talk to her and kind of fill her in on the fact that, second marriage didn't quite work like she wanted, or like he wanted, I should say. And now he's out being a farmer boy, moving bales of hay all day and spraying the animals down. I don't know, that's like the only two clips they showed was him spraying a hose and him sitting on bays of hail.
Yeah, cramp. Oh, I feel so good.
Oh, and then we get a jump scare of Colt in his room. I don't know why they filmed this. Maybe this was the only content they could get out of this guy while he's at his uncle's farm in what looks like the most boring environment, like not even a TV to be found in this room. So maybe he truly is out farming all day, because I'd be bored as hell sitting in these four walls here. But yeah, he's using his like Theragun type thing and getting his cramps out. And these are visuals that I just never wanted to see, y'all. But you know what? If I have to endure it, you do too, okay? We're in this together. We got to navigate our way through this cringe swamp one way or another. All right, just hold my hand. We got this.
I can see the same choices leading to the same mistakes, and I want to be someone different, someone better.
And as much as I'm on him in this video, it really does sound like Colt has done some maturing and some thinking on his own, which is more than anybody else I've seen on this show when they are left alone after a failed relationship. I mean, talk about Big Ed, I always compare things to him. He just jumped right into the next relationship with Liz, and then right into the next relationship with, I don't even remember her name, that lady in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, they never give themselves time to think and process their negative emotions, which can be a tough thing to do. You know, it's hard to sit with your emotions and get through with them, so instead a lot of people just go back to their behaviors that allow them to forget about it and move on to the happy emotions again. But Colt's doing the work, it seems, so honestly, he kind of seems like a changed man. He's giving Fousey in 2025 vibes, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he's on his Bam Margera arc and he really is on the up and up and is gonna become a better person as a result of this pain.
My mother has invited me more than once to go visit her in Canada, but I have yet to take her up on that offer.
Why are we getting these shots, bro? You can tell us this stuff after you've done your massaging and put your clothes on, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need to see these angles, but I'm sure TLC received this footage and was like, hell yeah, we gotta add the grotesque shot every 4 minutes, and this helps us meet our quota.
My mother and I have a toxic relationship, but I want to mend the rift between us. I need to tell her about Vanessa and I divorcing.
And he's making such a big spectacle about this, as if she doesn't realize that they're divorced when he comes to meet her alone. You know what I mean? Obviously, you would have talked about your wife if you were still together, so I think your mom is smart enough to put 2 and 2 together here, Colt. You can just, you know, get out with it. But instead, he's got to make it a spectacle that takes 5 minutes for him to deliver this one sentence to her.
Vanessa and I are divorced.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And wouldn't you know it, his mom reacts exactly how any mom would react. Like, she just feels bad, but she probably understands that this needed to happen. And, you know, it's a sad thing, but also it's been a little while since they've divorced, it sounds like. So she does not freak out in any way, nor does she freak out at the news of hearing that he's living with her brother. If anything, she's probably very happy knowing that her brother is a solid dude and is going to be a good influence on Colt. So Colt was making up this scenario in his head this whole time that this was going to be some super difficult conversation, and instead he went all the way to Canada just to hear, oh yeah, that's sad, I wish you would have told me, you know, it's not that crazy to, you know, call me up every once in a while, even though we don't talk a ton. I'd love to hear what's going on in your life. And that's basically the whole conclusion of this episode. That's right, that is the update for Colt in 2025. He is now twice divorced, luckily back to talking with his mom. It sounds like she's happy with her new man. So as much as I was making fun of him in this episode, hopefully this means he's on the right track. I guess that's all you want to see for somebody who, you know, it might be cringe, but he's truly just struggling with wanting to be loved and wanting to love somebody else. So hopefully he can spend some time loving himself, and maybe, you know, we took away some good conclusions from this video. I oddly was able to twist this in a positive way many times, so let me know what you thought down in the comments below. As always, make sure you subscribe and like if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Until next time, peace out.